Alrighty guys, I would like to talk to you about kiting, which I know is probably a topic that we've discussed many times before. However, I know that it seems like people that are first starting off with launching, this is by far the most critical thing. I'm going to do a video on some motor work that I think you should also do if you're getting ready to launch. However, let me preface this by saying I am a huge advocate of actually going and getting some training from someone who at least knows how to fly at the very least. You can do it on your own, but you have so many different things that people can catch that will hopefully help you be more safe. And there is a lot of danger when you're on the ground with a crazy propeller in the back going wild and you don't know what you're doing at first. So that being said, this is just kind of some tips that I would suggest you do leading up to your first flight, or even just to try to get better at launching in general. I've got a recording that I'm going to go ahead and show you of different things that I like to try to do. The main takeaway from the entire video is when you're kiting, especially in a nil wind situation, which here in the Midwest, that's often the times that we fly, is when there isn't any wind. Now, if you're like somewhere in Florida or somewhere where there's this wonderful consistent shore breeze, this video doesn't really apply to you that much. However, it still has useful techniques that you can apply to your kiting. The main thing that I would suggest is try to learn how to control the wing with just your body positioning. You really shouldn't be using the brakes. As with a low to nil wind situation, you will probably most likely pull too much brake and stall that side of the glider. That's just a very common thing that I see with a lot of new beginner pilots.
So the thing that I would suggest is learn to kite without having to use your brakes. I'm going to grab my brakes off because I'm going to use that to slow the wing. However, I would suggest never relying on your brakes for controlling the wing direction. Unless you have enough wind, the odds are you'll probably just stall one side of the wing, and then that will be the end of it. So you really want to do it off of a feel. So if I can try to demonstrate this, if we had a little bit more wind, this would be easy, because the problem is I'm going to run into my camera that's set up right there, because I don't have anybody helping me film. So take a few steps back. When you come forward, you want to feel that that tension is equal in both hands, and that gives you, that way you know you're square with the wing. If you come up like this, then this one has tension, this one doesn't. It's because I know I'm not square with the wing. Square yourself up. You want to puff out your chest like you're the most pompous idiot in the world, and you want to pull your shoulders back and your hands up. If you are not squeezing your shoulders to the point where they are uncomfortable, you're not trying hard enough, I promise you. Also, when you go to take your first few steps, you will inherently lean like this because you know you're about to have a bunch of pressure pulling you back, and that is fine. But as soon as you can, start to upright your back. You want to stand as straight and as proud as humanly possible. You want to look like just an idiot, a complete idiot. So, that said, here we go. Wing comes up. Brakes are just to slow its forward movement. It's all position yourself under the wing is the trick. That's how you want to do it.
So as you saw there, basically once the wing comes up, it is just a game of keep yourself underneath the wing. So if this is the wing and the wing comes up and it starts to fall to this direction, you center yourself underneath it. If it goes that way, you run underneath it. A lot of people have a tendency to want to try to pull the wing, and you can't pull the wing. If you try to pull it, it's just going to increase the issue. So think of the whole situation like a pendulum. So once you're in the air, you naturally pendulum underneath, centered of the wing. However, when you're on the ground, since you're planted to the ground, you have to position yourself under the wing. The wing will not be lifting you up at this point. As soon as the wing lifts up, it will put you underneath it. So you also want to make sure before you launch that that wing is directly overhead, because if it's off to the side and you lift up, now you swing underneath and you instantly go into a big turn, oftentimes tossing yourself into the ground. It's ugly. I've seen it before. So note the posture. So you have got to you need to strain your shoulders. You should be pulling extremely tight. Imagine you have a coin in between your shoulder blades and you don't want that coin to fall. Pull those things back. It is going to be uncomfortable. And it is not uncomfortable if you're relaxed and loose. Your hands are too far forward, I promise you. Strain those things. You cannot go too far back.
All right, so if I grab just my A's, That looks all right. We'll see. Okay, so just using my A's. So there's proof there's no brakes involved. It'll be A's until it comes up, and then it's just running, keeping my body position under the wing. That is the whole thing, is just try to feel. The wing will naturally want to pull you the direction that you need to go. So if it starts to fall off to the right, you will feel it pulling you to the right. Run underneath it. It should always feel even on your body. If it doesn't feel even, it's because you need to go the direction it's trying to tell you. And underneath the wing. Always just under the wing. So there you have it. You just got to keep your body under the wing. That's all there is to it.
Okay, so as you saw, you do not need your brakes at all. You literally should learn how to kite without you even having your hands on the brakes. Run the entire length of whatever yard you have. Just keep your body positioned underneath the wing. In practice, trying to get it to turn. If you want to go right, walk left so that your wing starts to fall off towards the right, and then reposition yourself underneath it and go the direction that it wants to go. That is the way you want to turn. You can, once you get the hang of this, you can start to integrate your brakes. But just remember, I would go with like a little bit of a pull and then up, because people have a tendency to pull too much brake. So just kind of like a pop and then up. And at the same time, move your body the opposite direction to get the wing to do what you want it to do quicker. So if you're trying to go right, you're going to pull right brake. You're going to step left so that your wing starts to fall off towards the right. And then you'll let up off that brake once you've got your heading the way you want it, and then you will reposition your body directly under the wing. That is how you should correctly turn. Now, I understand once you throw a motor on your back, all this stuff is a little bit less easy to feel because you don't have the soft harness that is a lot easier to tell which direction it's pulling you. So you are going to have a little bit more of an issue once you throw a motor on your back, which is why you want to get really good at this on the ground in a kiting harness. That way, once you throw that on, it feels a little bit more natural and you can become more in tune with these subtle little feelings that you have.
Perhaps I can slow the wing down enough. I'm going to grab my brakes off this time just to see if I can show you a little bit more of what's going on. All right, so as we come forward, the wing comes up, we're going to slow it with the brakes. So if I step left, it starts to fall to the right side. And then if it does, then I can run underneath it, and then I can turn right. So that is the way you want to turn. You can use the brakes to control it, but you have to have enough wind.
All right, so my apologies for the kind of crappy video quality. I understand you didn't get to see a whole lot because the camera, I ran past it. It's pretty quick. However, just like I said, get out there and practice a decent amount. The whole reason you need to have your arms pulled back so much is not for a side-to-side thing. It's because if your hands are too far forward, you will be pulling the A's at too much of an angle, and you will collapse the front of the wing. So if you're having a bunch of frontal collapses, odds are your hands are either too low. Really pull those risers tight and super far back. I want those, it should be tight between your carabiner and the top of your riser right at the A where you're grabbing those A's. That should be completely under tension. If you do it properly enough, and if you can have your hands far enough back, you can theoretically hold those A's indefinitely. However, I would recommend as soon as it comes up and you know that wing is overhead where it needs to be, let off the A's, and then just control with your body position underneath it. So I know it's going to be kind of a shorter video. I hope this is helpful to quite a few people. Drop something in the comments below if you'd like to see something else. Like I said, I'm probably going to make a motor work video of something that I would think people that are beginners should probably practice and do on the ground before they actually put the two together and launch. If you guys have any questions, just let me know, and I hope this is beneficial to you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Be safe, have fun, peace out.